Well, I don't think it's just teaching our kids about giving. I think it's teaching our kids about giving without expecting anything in return, right? That's true giving. Because right now, if you think about, where we celebrate Christmas, so we'll talk about Christmas. It's if you give a gift, you're giving it with the expectation you're going to get something, receive a gift in return, right?
Yeah.
So I agree, where if we teach our kids about giving without the expectation of anything in return, that is something that we should be striving for.
Wake up, it's time to rise. Talking money with sharp insight. Jim and Ryan here to guide. Master in the money ride. Saving stacks and planning dreams. Living large by honest means. Tune in now for the schemes. Breaking down financial themes. Money mindset every day.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Money Mindset Mastery podcast, where I'm your host, Jim Lao, and joining me today is Ryan Geno, Elf. How are you doing, Ryan?
Not too bad. I couldn't let you be the only one without a new holiday sweater, so I put mine on just for the special event. So
Right. So what are we talking about today?
Today is a podcast. Again, it's that time of year, December 1st, for people that are already starting to stress and figure out what the holiday brings. So how Canadians can shop smarter this holiday season. And it's just our refresher for a lot of people. Some stuff new, some stuff is repetitive, because that's the best way to create a habit, is repeating things over and over again. Practice makes perfect. So today's podcast is based on a blog that I wrote and refreshed from last year, and some feedback and some interesting statistics that have come out since last year's that I wanted to be able to reflect on. And I don't know where they sit on my side, but I want people to feel more like this in Elf than the surprise at the end of the year, as Kevin McAllister did in Home Alone when his family was gone. So
yeah, that'll be January when they open up the credit card statements.
So that's right. We don't want to feel like that.
No,
yes,
absolutely
we don't
not.
want to feel like a Grinch through this holiday season. So, yeah.
Well, there is a bit of a paradox, right, during the holiday season, because there's obviously the holiday joy, and I would say that I'm experiencing more of that this year, mainly because we recently moved our office down to the Eaton Center. And of course, we've got the big, huge Christmas tree and all the music going and the decorations. So it's hard not to get into the spirit. But also, there's a lot of financial stress that's happening right now. One of the things that I've noticed that's been a little bit different over last year is, I think I shared that over the last few years, Carol and I have been donating gifts to a local charity in Bowmanville, where they provide home or gifts to seniors in homes, because many of them don't have family, or they just don't have family that comes and visits, right? And they're quite lonely over the holiday season. So we've contributed or donated some gift bags. Last year, there was a shout out because they were short on their goal, and the community came together and was able to actually meet the goal. This year, Carol and I have done the same thing, and they're just really, really short on their goal for this year, even more so than last year. And a big part of that is people are just feeling more of that pinch, right? And then there's been a lot of announcements today with layoffs with Algoma Steel and some other places. It's just kind of, I hate to say it, but snowballing, right, in terms of the stress that's being created right now. So we want to try to provide some comfort, maybe some tips to help some people throughout the holiday season and with their spending, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can share the first stat there with the 94% of Canadians.
Yeah, so this is a significant increase from last year. Last year, we saw depending on the statistics, you saw kind of high 70s, low to mid 80s, but a survey shows that 94% this year of Canadians expect financial strain during this holiday season. And again, that number continues to climb. So the people that are being asked are obviously looking at their credit card statements as of last year, especially after holiday season, feeling that, and now going into this holiday season, some, may not have actually paid off some of that debt from last year and are now looking to go into a new season. And that's where, Cash Flow Solutions comes in. The coaching that I provide clients has really helped a lot of clients that we work with to help make sure, and it's the one word that we don't often use. It's the B word, the budget. But a budget is for that kind of short-term thing. And the conversations have really revolved around how to prepare for this holiday season on a budget and being able to stick to that budget. I'll continue on with some of the other things but it's people feel compelled to spend money beyond their means, and it's obviously the dialogue that we have. But in my blog, I wrote a little bit of a social experiment I did with a lot of clients, friends, and family, and I've even actually seen it trending online. Nothing that I started, but even asking friends and family, what did they get last year for the holiday season? And my own social experiment revealed most people could not remember what they received last year. So I guess my social experiment challenge to everybody out there listening is to ask friends and family that you gave last year, or kids especially, what was it that they got for the holiday season? And what, as I said, a lot of people discovered is a lot of people did not remember what they got last year, which means likely that it wasn't a meaningful enough gift for that person to receive. Now, I asked my son the same, and he actually was able to name the 2 or 3 things that I got last year, which meant that I chose right, that his request from Santa was right, and they were meaningful, thoughtful gifts that either created an experience for people instead of just simply gifting for gifting reasons. So,
See, I have a different theory.
Yeah, what's that?
My theory is probably a lot of really good eggnog with brandy, and they just can't remember. So maybe it was a really good Christmas.
Yes. And the funny thing was, I was thinking about eggnog instead. I chose water for this one.
Right. And then when you were referring to the B word, I thought, oh, he's going to say Bahumbug, but it wasn't that. It was it was budget.
Yeah. Yes, the B word is go to the Bahamas.
So there you go. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the psychology of holiday spending, because there are some emotional triggers, right? Nostalgia being one of them. Connection. Some people just feel that that's the way that they're connected, is by providing or spending on a gift, right? And there's also that urge to give. There's the urge to give. I also think, though, there's probably just an expectation, right? So I think that's a big one, and potentially guilt as well, right? And I think it's the expectation, the guilt, that really adds a lot of the stress to a lot of people.
Yeah, and again, a lot of the conversations that we have is really about setting the expectations ahead of time with friends and families, coworkers, whatever it may be. Because that nostalgia of ourselves waking up Christmas Day, it creates happiness, the desire to connect with people, but really, when thinking through the process of really finding the perfect gift for somebody, which can be stressful enough for some, to remove yourself from the buying tradition instead, and really set out some goals, and set some examples of what games perhaps. I think you mentioned last year, or maybe it was me, talking about the types of games families can make. I've been in family gatherings, and everybody buys a gift for every grandchild or cousin or whatever. But how do we simplify that this year? And I think you used an example of, only kids under the age of certain age get gifts. And then there was everybody set a budget as to, hey, nothing over, say, $20 or something like that.
Yeah,
so
there's a secret Santa that we do for anyone over the age of 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then you mentioned, impulse buying, that urge to just kind of buy stuff to buy stuff. And I know I've fallen into it too, of saying, oh, that looks like a great item, but really keeping in mind, what are my bills going to be? What are the heating bills going to be come the holiday season? And how all of these coincide, making sure that I'm staying kind of on track for myself, but just finding the right time to resist the urge to just buy immediately. instead keep in mind what is a thoughtful gift that we could perhaps purchase for somebody that we care about, and not feel the need to buy for everybody. So
Yeah, and the impulse part, I think it's become a little bit more challenging as well because it is so much easier to just click a button on your phone and put it to the shopping cart and have a bunch of stuff delivered too, right? I mean, I'm guilty of that. There are times where, once upon a time, Christmas shopping for me was Christmas Eve. I'd go to the mall and try to find the gifts for the people that I needed to give a gift to. And now it's easy to sit on the couch. When the Leafs are losing, they're down 3 goals, and normally it's like, okay, like my attention span fades away, and I'm on my phone and I'm buying a bunch of stuff, right?
mhm.
So it's a little too easy for us to overdo it because of the technology that we have available now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And again, those formations happen at a young age. Nostalgia that kicks in, and really, how do we shape our behavior going forward? You know,
yeah.
Often we talk about scripts within the coaching, right? How do we see spending? Is it truly a sense of joy, or is it anxiety? Is it something that we want to do to create a status? And that's where we
Yeah.
really get into the pattern of overspending,
Mhm.
and or frugal, or I don't know what other word there is for it. So thrifty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about some Canadian holiday shopping trends.
yeah,
So you have here breaking it down by region. So Ontario, Alberta, Quebec, and then the Maritimes. So maybe you want to get into that a little bit.
yeah. What we've seen a lot of people talking about, obviously with the political climate, and we're not going to get into that on this episode, but it's really about buying more local and
Yeah.
really help supporting more businesses that are local, help keep the economy going within your region. Yeah, Ontario, Alberta, Quebec, we're really seeing some of these things happen more and more often, where people are shopping more Canadian made, Canadian products, local vendors. It
Are they
really
shopping or are they buying? Because today there was a stat that came out that said that, like, I think 84% plan to buy Canadian made products, but ultimately their decision is influenced by the price.
Absolutely. The price is what we saw early on, at least, is that people are shopping and buying Canadian, but ultimately we won't truly know the outcome until 2026. I was about to say
Yeah.
2025, but 2026, when everybody's shopping is done, because, you know, our friends to the south are, in their Black Friday events and things like that. Cyber Monday, I think today is officially
Today's
Cyber
Cyber Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Officially Cyber Monday, so that urge to want to grab something to buy is triggering for a lot of people. So
Hmm.
keep, and this is again a reminder for a lot of people, the importance of buying a little bit more local, and trying to find items that are more thoughtful for each other. So
Yeah. Now it looks like stress and social pressure, about 57% say that shopping is more stressful than ever. Is that number higher or lower from last year? Do you know?
it is a little bit higher from last year. It's only a few percentage points above last year, but I I think the other percentage people are lying to themselves, or that they truly are just simplifying what they're doing as far as gift giving and buying for this year.
Hmm.
Again, that goes back to the mindset of having open conversations with the people you care about and love, and find out, hey, do we have to buy for each other? We enjoy
Right.
spending, or do we want to create an experience throughout the year to ensure that we're not overspending during the holiday season?
Yeah, that's something I think I've shared repeatedly that Carol and I have done is we no longer gift each other presents over Christmas, but we do try to uh, contribute to some local charities to help out, again, people who are in a much more stressful situation than we would be. Because I think as a parent, and I think you can appreciate this, Ryan, the stress would be that, I mean, if you didn't have young children, probably wouldn't affect you as much, but when you have a young child or young children, the stress of not being able to kind of make some of their dreams come true or give them a good Christmas, or with a lot of them, just put food on the table, right? There's a lot of guilt for a parent who's experiencing that. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is just to again contribute some funds to young families who just don't have the resources to be able to get even a small little gift, right, for their kid. Because the holidays it's for family, but it's really for the kids, right, and their happiness.
Yeah, and the holiday season, again, it really is about giving. And if that's something you can teach your kids at a small age, no matter what it is, or how much it is, because it's obviously the thought that counts, of showing them the ability to give to somebody in need, or just give because you
Mm.
can start some beautiful traditions for a lot of people. Again, Walker and I have done many things in the past too, no matter where we're at in our stage, but it's about finding people that are in more need than we are, and helping, giving them a helping hand. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's just teaching our kids about giving. I think it's teaching our kids about giving without expecting anything in return. Right. That's true giving. Because right now, if you think about, where we celebrate Christmas, so we'll talk about Christmas. It's if you give a gift, you're giving it with the expectation you're going to get something, receive a gift in return, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I agree. Where if we teach our kids about giving without the expectation of anything in return, that is something that we should be striving for. So. And of course, what makes it more difficult for us, I mean, you and I growing up, we would look at the Hot Wheels commercials and, slot car
Toys R Us.
racetracks. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, Toys R Us, right? Where now it's on social media. So there's the influence of social media, and our kids are scrolling on social media as well. So that's a bit of a challenge too, right?
Yeah, that is a big one. We no longer flip through our consumer distributing or Canadian Tire
Yeah,
booklets or Toys R Us, but
yeah,
instead, we're being bombarded with lots of commercials on social media of there's some kids that do a lot of social media videos to really press the issue of different toys, and you should get this now type of thing. So we're being pressured at no matter what age we are, which is really creating the feeling of needing to buy or purchase, or in our kids get that I kind of expect certain things during the holiday season. So
hmm
again, it goes back to that conversation that you're having with your family through the expectations of what it is for each year, and how you can create better experiences for each other. So
right. Okay. Now, the debt trap. We want to talk about the debt trap right now, and you've indicated here that 56% of Canadians rely on credit cards for holiday purchases. Is it 56% rely on holiday purchases and are carrying a balance, or just purchasing in general, where a
this,
percentage will cover their balance at the end of the month
yeah,
and a percentage won't?
yeah, this is just simply talking about the people that have to use their credit cards. And
Okay.
again, being able to dig a little bit deeper and find that information, I found like three or four different sources, like how many people are carrying the same amount of balance.
Right.
Again, as I said at the beginning, is they're carrying balances from even last year, still trying to pay off. So I would expect that number to be pretty high, as far as people that are continuing to carry a large sum of debt already and continue to add on to that. And again, the wonderful Christmas spirit of 22% interest rate for the credit card company, they'll have a great Christmas, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we're going to have one.
Do you know what the profit margin is for credit cards? I want there was an interview last year. I think it was in the U.S. Senate Congress. Again, I'm not a political guy. Bottom line is, I believe they interviewed the head of Visa and the head of Mastercard, and they were asked the question, "What's your profit margin?" I forget which one was which, but one of them was like 50%, and the other was like 54%. That's their
Mm-hmm.
profit margin. That's
Yeah.
unheard. Like, that's significant, right? They're making a lot of money off of people's backs.
A lot of credit card companies being handled by banks, and especially for those young students and people that already have debt, trying to create more debt. So it's an important dialogue, again, coaching piece. It's an important financial literacy piece for a lot of people, of
Yeah.
understanding at a younger age what is a credit card, right? Where does it come from, and why do kids kids, teenagers coming out of university are constantly handed credit cards as if they were Halloween candy from the banking institutions. So yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of money. So
Yeah, and you and I, we've done a lot of episodes where we talk about how people can keep more money in their pocket and give less to CRA. How do people break free? Like, what are some of your tips for people to break free from, the credit card companies making that level of profit margin?
excuse me. I say a lot of it comes down to planning ahead, really planning ahead and making sure that, you're not triggered by anything and not impulse buying, that you are creating a budget. If you can have somebody to help you support through the accountability piece of making sure you keep on track, that's an amazing piece too. A lot of clients have said by having these dialogues start between themselves and their partners or family members, it's really reduced the stress and also opened up kind of the communication conversation that's handed between the two. I think that's one of the biggest things is just setting a realistic budget. For us, we've talked about it in the past. You know, I, for instance, probably start in July when it comes to holiday shopping, kind of spread it out over the course of the year instead of being hit with it all in one month. Especially since I'm a December kid, so um, it can be pretty rough for people who have December birthdays, so or even January birthdays for that matter. The aftermath of the holiday
Yeah,
season. So
yeah,
and be okay setting a boundary.
mhm,
It's okay to say no to things. I think it's something we want things immediately, right? And be able to hold off. I think I said this in a previous episode back in September, October, which was any spending now should be looked ahead as save it and pack it away for something to be used in the holiday season, to make sure that we create that atmosphere, that nostalgic feel that we did without putting strain on ourselves or our financial pockets. So yeah.
right. Now, you indicated here cultivate financial self awareness. So, identify your money mindset. What is that, and how can they identify it?
Best way to do it is we have a great quiz that we can send you to go through and understand what is your mindset around money. And those things are often ingrained in us at a very young age. The development between ages 3 and 6 are huge when kids start thinking and seeing and looking at money. And the best way is to reach out to us. Go on our website, tvhfinancial.ca. You can also find is there. But as part of the program, when it comes to our coaching program, to take people through that, especially couples, to really understand and reveal like where did these habits and behaviors come from, and how can we slowly make sure that we create new ones. So
Yep. Now, you indicate here practice mindful consumption. So, things like cooling off periods, focus on experiences over things. So, I think I've mentioned this a few times where I've implemented that process of giving myself a cooling off period. Just this weekend, we were joking because we had Eric, who's our associate advisor based out of Edmonton. He was visiting with us, and Carol and I were sharing stories how I would go out to finance a vehicle, and I would say to her, I'm just looking tonight, and I'd walk away with a Tahoe. So that's changed. I've gotten better at it. I didn't
yeah,
give myself a cooling off period in those situations in the past, but that's a good idea, right? Give yourself a bit of a cooling off period. Could be a few hours, could be 24 hours, whatever that is, right?
yeah, absolutely. And again, this is taken right from last year's episode, the conversation that we had to about kind of sitting on it for 48 hours, perhaps a week. And then again, as I mentioned before, I wrote it in my blog to kind of the idea of really focusing on experiences, and that's one of the
Yeah,
things that my son remembered most through the holiday season last year is the experiences we had together and as a family. Really allowed him to be like, yeah, we did this and we did this and we did this and we got to do
right.
this year, right? Instead of what did we get last year? I don't know. And that's often the response. So I'm, again, challenging people to do that with their family early on before they go out and buy a bunch of gifts. So,
Right.
Now,
So
it
what you're
doesn't
saying is
stop people from buying gifts for us, but still.
right. So what you're saying is the people who had the eggnog with the brandy, the experience that they had was the hangover. That's right. All righty. So practical tips for a stress-free season. So you talked about starting early. Carol, my
Yep.
wife, does the same thing. So
Yep.
she likes to shop throughout the year, and if there are sales opportunities or whatever else, she'll take advantage of those. Choose value over volume. So fewer but better gifts.
Yeah. Again, that just speaks to really, I think it's hard to cut a bunch of people off my Christmas this year, but you know, and when looking at different gifts and stuff like that, if you can't really sit down and think about what would be important for them, Jim's going to want a fresh Guinness off the tap.
Right.
Next time we're in Ireland, Jim, next Guinness is on me. But
Awesome.
if I don't know the person well enough to really choose a gift that would be meaningful, the question then becomes: Am I just buying gifts for the gift's sake? And yeah, fewer gifts, more thoughtful gifts can be much better than buying a bunch of random things. Uh, Other things that we've mentioned in the past, and even that we've had responses from clients. This is where we got from last year too, which was using your loyalty programs, your points, secondhand, do-it-yourself gifts, um, scrounging for all those gift cards you got throughout the year. I'm sure there's people out there that get lots of gift cards and sit their wallet all year and never know when to spend them. Well, this is the time of year to scrounge them all out and make sure that gift giving this year is on the gift card and not your dollars. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I know Carol, she's used her PC points every year. She collects them and then uses them for the holiday season, which is very helpful. I would say the secondhand gifts or even the DIY gifts. When I was younger, I probably would have thought that the person who gave me an experience or a gift that was made for me was probably cheap. Right? As I'm older now and more mature, I actually appreciate those so much more because there was some thought put behind it, a lot of effort, right? And they just mean so much more, and it's unique, right?
yeah.
So something to
Let's
consider as well.
It's good to know that you're wearing the sweater I knitted you from last year, Jim. So
Yeah,
thank you very much.
from Costco.
Yeah. But
You said he. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just the only last thing is really engage in your family and really have these kind of conversations, discussion, because people are at different levels. They don't realize that and take into consideration everybody and where they're at. A lot of people have lost their jobs this past
Mm,
year, and I know lots of people are already talking about job loss in the new year, and it's really important to have these discussions about what it means and what is most important. So
yeah. Now, the power of financial literacy and coaching. I mean, we try to do a lot of this with individuals, but you've indicated here that education alone isn't enough. There's planning and accountability. So maybe talk to us about that a little bit more.
yeah, from a young age, financial literacy isn't necessarily taught in our schools, or at least the way. So, really having that planning conversations. We've had podcasts talking about SMART goals and things like that,
Mm,
but the accountability piece really matters, and that again, that's why we're seeing more and more people sign up for our coaching sessions, uh, wanting to create new behaviors, new habits, and I think this will be probably the biggest thing that we see through 2026 is people really finally reaching out for help and
mhm.
just having somebody to help support them, to teach them, and to help hold them accountable. Again, we've used this analogy in the past. The greatest athletes. I was going to say the greatest politicians, but the greatest athletes. Let's go
No
back to
such thing exists.
that. Let's go back to the athletes. All the best leaders, they all have a team around them that can help support them and hold them accountable. And if you don't have that in your kind of world or in your life, it's time to really reach out to us and Cash Flow Solutions to make sure we can help support you through it. So
And what's the process? Like, let's talk a little bit about the behavioral cash flow program that you are the coach and offer currently.
Yeah. So we want to walk people through where their current cash flow is, right? So again, people are talked about budgets endlessly throughout school, budget this, budget that. But it's really truly understanding what is the money coming in versus the money
Mm-hmm.
going out. That is as simple a term as cash flow is. So first, we offer a cash flow plan and really digging deep into where people's spendings are happening. Second, we have a collective meeting to find out if this is the right fit. And I think that's an important conversation to have because accountability is important as we go through the stage. And then we offer modules, like learning modules, to help increase people's financial literacy. It's educational. They're not long, but it creates some great dialogue and conversation that people either have never had or potentially have had back in school,
Mm-hmm.
possibly taking a course that they were still waking up from because they were out the night before. So it's kind of a little bit blurry, but we go through kind of some modules and understanding, and then we do monthly coaching conversations. So every month we sit down and have a conversation. We talk about progress, we talk about goal setting, we talk about uh, essentially couples therapy in some cases, and how opening that communication up about cash flow and about understanding money can really relieve the stresses. Again, one of the number one reasons why couples break up is the conversation around money. So we want to break that cycle and make sure that this is an important thing to talk about. You know what kind of relationship you're getting into. Again, we've joked in the past too that even some dating sites nowadays ask, what is your credit rating? So it's important to have that. So whether you're an individual or a couple, it's always great to start somewhere to have someone like ourselves in your corner. So
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that probably should be part of a premarital class, right? Is the behavioral cash flow piece, even as simple as going through the money mindset quiz, right, to determine what each person's mindset is, to have a true understanding of how they view money. So it's something that I do encourage people to look
and
at.
it's a Christmas gift from us. It's free on our
Yes,
website to do
yeah.
the quiz together. So find out what each are, and then give us each of you are, and then give us a call and let's set up a meeting to talk about how we can work through that with you.
Yeah, so basically, if you're looking for some help, you want to find out some more information about the behavioral cash flow program. If you're looking for some ways to get yourself through the holidays with spending and maybe avoid again, the this reaction
Yeah,
in January
yeah.
when you open up your credit card
We want to
statement.
move more towards that reaction.
Yeah.
So
You can find us at the tvhfinancial.ca. There is a section where it's behavioral cash flow, and you will find our money mindset quiz there as well. Once again, it's free for you to complete and get an understanding of what your money mindset currently is. Other ways to find us is through social media. So we're on the YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. We've got the podcast, the YouTube video. We also do send out a newsletter that will also have the blog post and the podcast and the YouTube video. So if you would like to receive that newsletter, you can register once again at tvhfinancial.ca. You can also register at tvhgroup.ca. Finally, you can call us 647-727-4668 and email us financial@tvhgroup.ca. So, Ryan, any final comments you'd like to make before we shut down our second last episode of 2025?
yeah, if you want a good gift for giving, the one that keeps on giving is the giving of growth and education. The financial course that we offer through the cash flow is a great one for family members to offer others that perhaps are starting a new relationship, perhaps getting married, perhaps you're unsure for your kids in the future that are going to potentially inherit some money. We have seen that in the past where family members have actually purchased our coaching process, and we're seeing a lot of success with that. So
Absolutely. That's a great point. Well, Ryan, another great episode. Looking forward to our last one in the next couple of weeks. Still don't know what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be fantastic. And once again, if anyone has any questions, please reach out to us, comment on any of the comment sections of our social media accounts. And until next time, have a wonderful evening. Take care, everyone.
Take care.